my friends, Derek here from Bomb Socks with more Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ one bite at a time. So I need to tell you, if you've been watching Bomb Bites for we've been doing this for a little over a year now, you will notice that I love watches. Okay, I always have some kind of a matching watch to something. It's what I do. Socks, ties, watches, rings. It's my thing. Might be a disorder. We're looking into it, but it's something that I just got bored with my wardrobe a few years ago, and I thought I got to change it up a little bit. So that's where watches have become a thing for me. I literally own probably about 30 different watches. So there's one watch that if I really had unlimited resources and funds, I would go with the Rolex Submariner watch. Check this, look at this thing, it's beautiful. I mean, it's just a good looking watch. Currently on Rolex's website, you're looking at about $14,995. That's on sale, by the way. And so I remember going to the Rolex store one time, they had one close by, and I went and looked at it, and I just like, yep, that's a little bit out of my price range. And but what's interesting, if you look carefully, I am wearing a Rolex. Now, I don't know, that's kind of an interesting angle for you right there. Here, let me show you. So it looks, I don't know if you guys can see this even, but so there's the Rolex right there. Okay, it says Rolex, right? So it even has the sweeping hand to it. It's gorgeous. So I do own one of these Rolexes. It's really nice. Okay, I did not pay $14,995 on sale for it. I believe I may have paid $20 for this watch. This is a fake Rolex. I own probably 2 or 3 of them with all of my watches. Now, you're probably wondering, Derek, what does that have to do with the gospel of Jesus Christ? Well, I will show you section 50 of the Doctrine and Covenants. So to have you look at section 50 for a minute. So section 50, and this has been going on all through the late section 30s and into the 40s. You got all these members of the church who are starting to, well, the section heading here, let me just read it to you. It says that some of the elders did not understand the manifestations of different spirits abroad in the earth, and this revelation was given in response to his special inquiry on the matter. Remembering that this time period, they had what's called the Second Great Awakening, where people just had an unusual excitement about religion. And so these manifestations, these spiritual things where you got people scooting around the floor like a snake or a baboon, swinging from ceiling joists, that was normal. And they looked at that as being super spiritual. I told you about Levi Hancock last week, who looked at these 3 elders who were doing this, and he's just like, oh, I wish I was as spiritual as they are. So Joseph obviously had great concerns about this because he sees these people really having a hard time discerning between truth and error. Continuing in the section heading, it says, so-called spiritual phenomena were not uncommon among the members, some of whom claimed to be receiving visions and revelations. So again, this is a new church. They're still trying to figure out how to do this. And so Joseph comes in, and this section is devoted to them. So you look at, first of all, probably about verses 2 through 4, it talks about how there's many spirits, which are false spirits, going forth deceiving the world. Satan hath sought to deceive you. That is a truth, that he might overthrow you. And he's going to continue to try to do that until you are dead. I, the Lord, have looked upon you and have seen abominations in the church that profess my name. Here's where my Rolex comes in, okay? Blessed are those who are faithful and endure, whether in life and death, they'll inherit eternal life. Woe unto them that are deceivers and hypocrites. For thus saith the Lord, I will bring them to judgment. Behold, verily I say unto you, now here's where my Rolex watch comes in. There are hypocrites among you, who have deceived some, which has given the adversary power, but unto such shall be reclaimed. But the hypocrites shall be detected, and shall be cut off, either in life or in death, even as I will. And woe unto them who are cut off from my church, for the same are overcome of the world. Wherefore, let every man beware, lest he do that which is not in truth and righteousness before me. Now, what's interesting with this watch right here, I'm not trying to deceive people. Most people know me. I'm a seminary teacher. I own a sock company. I mean, we're not quite Fortune 500 yet, but sorry, I'm not paying 15 grand for a watch on sale. 20 bucks will be great for me. But what's interesting with that, I think when I actually got this, it was like, this is a real thing. Yeah, it's not real. Of course it's not. This is probably my 3rd fake Rolex that I've owned. And one of them I remember I just was walking and it just fell off of my wrist, and the word Rolex actually fell off of it, and you can kind of shake it around in there. So bottom line with all of this, there's some questions I want to pose to you here. So this phrase, there are hypocrites among you who have deceived some, which have given the adversary power. These are some questions you can discuss. You can write down, journal, however you want to do it. Why are members of the church often accused of being hypocrites? How can hypocrisy give the adversary power? And how can we cure the hypocrisy within all of us? So take a second and look at those 3 questions, and maybe we'll talk about it for just a minute. Okay, so this idea, we as members of the church are often looked at as hypocrites. And again, it's sad. I don't think it's just us as members of the church. I think it's just human nature. I think the natural man within us, we all have hypocrisy deep down that I think we want to not think is there, but it really is there. So the trick is we need to figure out a way to cure that hypocrisy within us. And keeping in mind that making a mistake doesn't make you a hypocrite. Pretending that you are not who you say you are, that's what makes you a hypocrite. In fact, the word in the New Testament, it teaches us that the word hypocrite actually means play actor. So again, you're pretending to be something that you are not. So that makes the opposite of hypocrisy integrity, because integrity is knowing who you are and being yourself even when no one else is watching. One of the things I love about that, there was a Mormon message a couple years ago for the youth that I think addresses this perfectly. So watch this.
When I was recently assigned to a conference in the Mission Viejo, California stake, I was touched by an account of their four-stake New Year's Eve youth dance. Following the dance, a purse was found with no outside identification. I share with you part of what Sister Monica Sedgwick, the young woman president in the Laguna Niguel stake, recorded. We didn't want to pry. This was someone's personal stuff. So we gingerly opened it and grabbed the first thing that was on top. Hopefully it would identify her. It did, but in another way. It was a For the Strength of Youth pamphlet. Wow. This told us something about her. Then we reached in for the next item, a little notebook. Surely this would give us answers, but not the kind we were expecting. The first page was a list of favorite scriptures. There were 5 more pages of carefully written scriptures and personal notes. The sisters immediately wanted to meet this stalwart young woman. They returned to that purse to identify its owner. They pulled out some breath mints, soap, lotion, and a brush. I loved their comments. Oh, good things come out of her mouth. She has clean and soft hands, and she takes care of herself. They eagerly awaited the next treasure. Out came a clever little homemade coin purse made from a cardboard juice carton. And there was some money in a pocket. They exclaimed, "Ah, she's creative and prepared." They felt like little children on Christmas morning. What they pulled out next surprised them even more. A recipe for Black Forest chocolate cake and a note to make the cake for a friend's birthday. They almost screamed, "She's a homemaker, thoughtful and service-minded." Then, yes, finally, some identification. The youth leaders said they felt greatly blessed to observe the quiet example of a young lady living the gospel. This account illustrates the commitment of our young women to church standards. They are incredible.
So as we watch that, hopefully you can keep in mind, if there is a little bit of hypocrisy in there, let's try to remove it and replace it with that integrity. And I really think that's what Joseph's trying to teach these early members. It's like, look, get rid of the hypocrisy here. Don't just try to be the person that is looking like they are spiritual when in reality they are not. Learn the way the Spirit works in your life, which is what we will talk about next time with the rest of this section. And thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And thank you for sharing. Godspeed. See you on Friday. Bye-bye.